Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest, Dr. Muna Arishi, member of the Council of Women Leaders. It's a very good afternoon to you, Dr. Muna.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Doctor, many Egyptian women, of course, have achieved international success, whether it is academically, socially, economically, or even politically. The most recent of which was the young Egyptian scientist Ilham Fadoli. Of course, before that, the Egyptian Minister of Planning also got the award for Best Minister in the Middle East, on the political level, etc. Let's talk a bit about the latest success of an Egyptian woman in the field of physics.
Yes, that was a fantastic achievement for the women.
Absolutely.
Having such a record on what we call STEM, which is the science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
In this area, a lot of young Egyptian women are very reluctant to join. So the success in physics, which is the most difficult, one of the most difficult paths in STEM, is really an achievement that everybody should be proud of.
Absolutely, absolutely, Doctor. Why do you say Egyptian women are still reluctant to join these fields of science, mathematics, physics, chemistry, etc.?
Yeah, it's because of many aspects. First of all, of course, the culture is one of the dimensions that stops the ladies of going there. They prefer the literature. For them might be easier, even though we have all seen the achievement of young ladies in science section in Thanawi Amma. So young ladies are up front, but once they go to the university, and even after they join the universities, they just stay at home. They don't want to continue or further studies or increase their aspect and knowledge in those areas.
Right. Why is that, Dr. Muna? Tell me, what is the main impediment or challenge that faces these women in doing so, and what can be done to assist them if they want to further pursue postgraduate studies, for example?
Okay. So, as I mentioned, culture is the basic impediment, and the reason is at home, the pressure on the young lady to be, having to go into an easy type of study after her university finishes is one of those main, reasons. I would say the second one is the ladies themselves. The way we are enabling and empowering women to be to continue on this aspect is also a bit of a challenge, and this is one of the studies that I have been doing myself across the Middle East, not only in Egypt, but of course here we are talking about our dear Egyptian young ladies. So what I believe would be very important is to show how this is not really something that is an impediment. I mean, working in this area doesn't mean that you will be neglecting her personal life, her family, her children even. Because actually now, this area, the research area, and the R&D in general, are one of the areas that a lot of women are excelling because it's much easier on them. So, making the young ladies understand and enabling the research to accommodate their timeline, like working from home, which is now something in a new norm that is happening always, would help a lot of young ladies continue on that dimension as well.
Yes, absolutely, Doctor. Now, you spoke about cultural impediments, and in your opinion, what needs to be done not just culturally, but also on a professional level, for example, for women who want to work or pursue their careers or further their education? What can be done in order to enable and assist these women, in terms of providing facilities, for example, daycare, extending hours, giving absence of leave, etc.? How do you see the rights of women in this regard?
So working from home, as I mentioned, is one of the very first things that comes to mind. And you see, when we are working from home, we can access all the research topics, from the university online. So this is the first thing. So making it possible for ladies to work from home, and I would say even the research and development at large. But of course, specifically for young women to be having this opportunity to continue and further get their, like master's degree, PhDs, and even have research as in mind. Because everybody wants just to start either work or go home and stay home. But there is this intermediary area where we can excel because we have the right minds and the right education. Even the education system will be enriched, because everybody knows that research will even leverage the how we are rated. In like all the Egyptian universities will be highly rated once we have more research. So the encouragement happens at the level of the university, so academically. This area is very important. And then even at work. So when we are working, I mean, in the normal companies, there must be something that would be encouraging young ladies to do further research.
Yes.
So, because I know, for example, a startup would not really care about having that. But if our country itself, legislations, gives some aspect of leverage for companies that host such young ladies with those minds achieving research, this could be an area where we can really increase let me say, the incentive for both the companies and the ladies to do so.
Indeed. Doctor, you touched on a very important issue, which is that of legislation. Rules and laws being put in place, not just being put in place because I know there's a lot of laws available to preserve the right of women, but to be implemented on the ground. That is the challenge.
Exactly, but as I say, encouraging by having some incentives, like maybe some facilities that will be, for the companies, because we have to think about the whole ecosystem. So the young lady is working, and where is she working is another dimension. So the young people, the startups, the fintechs can also be having some, like an incentive. This will encourage them to have two things. Ladies join them and then focus on research and the aspects of development.
Absolutely. Doctor, what did the coronavirus or this COVID-19 pandemic in general reveal about Egyptian women, in your opinion, ma'am?
So, first thing is, we all know that the first hit always comes to women.
Yes.
In any catastrophe or big, let's say, crises, right? So the first hit always comes to women, and this happened at the beginning. Actually, many women left it. They were just, let go of their work.
Yes.
After a while, things came back a bit to norm because working from home was the norm. And now the ladies were not competing with hours they had to spend at the office. So this brought the aspect of competition at par. So you can see that men and women here are not competing on the hours they spend, only on the quality of the job they are delivering. So this gave a bit of a positive for young women working from home, because that was the normal.
Absolutely.
And this is a good thing to use, because I believe having this aspect of working from home proves that we can compete always, is a good way to leverage the skills where they are most successful. So women can work from home in jobs that they can do from home. And young men, because we don't want to stop young men working. The idea is to increase the skill base, increase the employment at large, and have more production. So we don't want to say, okay, either the women or the men work. We want to have a plus rather than an or. So by having the best jobs for the best fit, be that women or men, then we are really increasing at large the work skills, which is, by the way, a lot of employers are looking for skills, and they claim that they cannot find the right skills. So we need to make this something, this equation balanced properly.
Absolutely. Doctor, one final question, if I may, ma'am. Now, of course, we have a challenge of population. And women have a very big role to play, especially if they are empowered, well-educated and enabled to have a say and a proactive role in the issue of family planning, etc. How do you see the role of women in this regard?
The mother is where we start. So I think the best is before the young ladies marry. This is where we start, because she is now choosing her partner. Right? And this is where the partners agree on their planning for the future. Everything is agreed at that period of time. So two things: choosing the right partner, and she herself is convinced of this. And what I see is the best timing is between 18 and 25 years. This is the age where most Egyptian young, let's say educated, because let's go for the population where you can really get the highest impact, right?
Yes.
So young ladies who are even semi-educated, right? So those who goes to, let me say, those like Ma'ahid, yeah? Intermediary education, not necessarily the high education,
yes.
are also the best target for delivering such a message. How to choose the right partner, how to agree on your plan, your life plan together, and this will be the subset. So the education should not be only focused on don't have so many children, right? The education is a holistic thing about the plan of your life, how you want the quality of your children to be. And part of it will be the planning of the number of children they're going to have together.
Absolutely.
So this is a different way of attacking this issue.
This issue, absolutely. Right. Dr. Mona Arishi, member of the Council of Women of Leaders, thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us this afternoon and for your insight on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Now moving on, still continuing with our news. Friday was the birth anniversary of the legendary Egyptian poet Salah Jahin, who was born on December the 25th in 1930. We have more details on the life of this Egyptian poet in this report. Stay tuned.